Federal agents have secured the final visual record of Nancy Guthrie's life. This isn't a blurry snapshot, it's a fluid chronicle of her last day. This is fluid imagery, potentially featuring recorded audio. The footage originated from a rideshare she boarded on January 31st, just hours before she vanished from her Tucson, Arizona home. The operator recorded the trip, yet 47 days passed before the authorities received the file, a staggering delay in an urgent search. For nearly 7 weeks, the investigation was forced to rely solely on unmoving photographs. Between fragmented doorbell captures and cryptic official releases, detectives had only memories and frozen frames to reconstruct her final evening. Now, Actual Motion exists, the definitive visual account of an 84-year-old woman navigating her typical weekend ritual. It was a routine being watched. This new footage offers the grim perspective needed to pivot the entire inquiry. The established timeline begins at 5:32 p.m. on January 31st. Nancy Guthrie hailed an Uber from her Tucson residence, headed to her daughter Annie's home for their customary Saturday dinner. She reached the house and shared dinner with family. Her son-in-law, Tomaso, later drove her home, sealing the garage door at 9:50 p.m. after confirming she was safely inside. That was the final sighting. While federal agents interviewed the driver during the first week, as confirmed by journalistic reports from the New York Post and News Nation, the dashcam recording was withheld from the task force until day 47. By March 19th, agents secured the tape, yet a haunting mystery remains. Why did 47 days pass before investigators received it? Were there legal obstacles? Or driver hesitation? Was there a failure to recognize the content? The official silence on the matter remains deafening. In major cities, most rideshare vehicles use cameras that document both the road ahead and the interior cabin. Investigators likely now hold several minutes of footage showing the streets of Tucson on that cold January night. Consider the forensic potential. The tape likely shows Nancy Guthrie entering the vehicle. Analysts will study her demeanor and facial expressions for any signs of unease or hidden distress. Every word she spoke and every turn taken on the way to Annie's home is now under the microscope. Outside the glass, the lens likely captured every passing car and every vehicle parked along the curb. Every figure on the street at 5:32 p.m. is now a lead. This is forensic proof, not a keepsake. Every single frame on that recording is a data point waiting to be analyzed. The Bureau can now sharpen these images and cross-reference them with their existing web of clues. Lacking a body or crime scene, this footage becomes vital after 7 weeks of relying on lifeless photographs. Security snapshots only offer a single, breathless instant frozen in time. Previous official releases were oddly composed, while human testimony is often clouded by the subjectivity of memory. While those clues were helpful, they lacked motion, a category of evidence that provides a much deeper level of reality. The recording provides exact timestamps and GPS data, mapping the definitive path Nancy traveled that night. This allows detectives to catalog every other vehicle sharing those same streets at that exact moment. If a predator was tailing her from a distance, the camera likely caught the pursuit. A watcher stationed along the route revealing a license plate or a silhouette could now be exposed. A driver's shadow might be visible. New leads suggest the predator was likely stalking the neighborhood that very afternoon. If so, this dashcam might have filmed the perpetrator in real time just hours before the abduction. Still, images merely placed Nancy at a specific location. This video might reveal the shadows surrounding her, leading to a detail that completely reshapes the case. On March 19th, reports from Parade and AOL confirmed the Bureau is tracking a suspicious vehicle seen in the neighborhood on the morning of January 31st. This sighting occurred hours before her ride or the family dinner, suggesting a calculated plan was already in motion. This shift drastically expands the criminal timeline. Authorities had already noted a strange individual near Nancy's home on January 11th, reported by a neighbor named Aldine Meister. Another instance of surveillance was logged on January 24th, just 7 days before she vanished. A third piece of evidence surfaces from January 31st, the very dawn before Nancy Guthrie vanished into thin air. The 11th, the 24th, and that final morning. This timeline reveals a predatory pattern that accelerates toward a dark conclusion. Should that unidentified vehicle have lingered until Guthrie's 5:32 transport arrived, the dash camera likely documented its presence. Federal agents are currently cross-referencing the morning sighting against every chassis captured in the evening transit footage. A positive identification would constitute catastrophic forensic proof. It confirms a day-long surveillance operation. Simultaneously, a secondary revelation has emerged from the same investigative cycle. During a specialized briefing, a former tactical lead provided a chilling assessment regarding the perimeter of the Guthrie estate. One neighboring property stood hollow, unlit, uninhabited, and devoid of any discernible human activity for some time. The driveway remained bare, offering no reason for local residents to cast a suspicious glance in its direction. Experts suggest this void served as a tactical staging ground, offering a covert vantage point focused directly on the Guthrie home. It provided a perfect perch to monitor her departure for her final evening meal, a place to verify her return and sit in total silence for 4 hours while the world remained oblivious. In that silent shell, shifting shadows or muffled footsteps would never trigger an alarm or draw scrutiny. This is the same observant enclave where Aldine Meister flagged a stranger for merely walking the pavement in early January. These residents are typically vigilant, yet a vacant house provides the ultimate camouflage for a predator hiding in plain sight. Emptiness breeds a unique kind of invisibility. Now, let us reassemble the chronology using the latest forensic updates. Dawn, January 31st. An out-of-place vehicle is spotted near the residence. The watcher has already taken his post. The surveillance begins. At 5:32, Guthrie enters her ride, and the lens captures her final moments of ordinary life. As she heads toward a family meal, any nearby stalker might have been caught in the background of the recording. Throughout the evening, she enjoys a routine dinner with her daughter, sharing the mundane chatter of a typical Saturday. Around 9:50, Tomaso drops her off. The garage door seals her inside. He departs, leaving her in complete solitude. Midnight passes. At 1:47, the security feed cuts. By 2:12, someone is at the door. 16 minutes later, silence. Guthrie's heart monitor sends its terminal pulse. Minutes later, a camera miles away records a figure of high interest. For weeks, public attention fixated on that 4-hour gap following her return home that Saturday night. A 4-hour stakeout is chilling, but the morning's evidence suggests the perpetrator's patience was far more extensive. He likely didn't wait 4 hours. He may have maintained his siege for nearly 20 hours from sunrise to nightfall. This level of calculated persistence indicates a professional predator, a fact the transit footage is poised to confirm. Former federal investigators detail the exhaustive process triggered when such critical visual data reaches their laboratories. The first phase involves a microscopic, frame-by-frame review of every individual image captured. Every pixel of the transit video undergoes scrutiny to index every car encountered during that final journey. Analysts document every detail: vehicle specs, plate numbers, and movement patterns relative to the victim's position. Next comes high-definition enhancement, aimed at unmasking any individuals lurking on the periphery of the scene. Anyone sitting in vehicles or standing on lawns is vetted against the primary list of suspected persons. Forensic acoustics will probe the cabin's audio for any telling remarks Guthrie might have shared with her driver. Did she speak of upcoming visitors or hint at any unusual expectations for the coming night? Was there a tremor of concern in her voice? Most importantly, does the morning's phantom car reappear at twilight? Finding a match across both timeframes proves the presence of a hunter who refused to leave his prey's side. Dynamic footage offers a layer of context and behavioral data that static images simply cannot provide. While a photo captures a moment, moving video reveals a calculated intent and a predatory flow. The footage exposes a strategy. Consider the victim, an 84-year-old woman dependent on her daily prescriptions. 48 days have vanished since her disappearance. This clip likely serves as the final record of her breathing world. It shows her departing for a weekly tradition, unaware it would be her very last family gathering. She remained oblivious to the looming threat, as did everyone who cared for her. She sat in that transport and traveled familiar boulevards, passing friendly houses she had seen 1,000 times before. Her only intent was a quiet evening, followed by the simple comfort of her own pillows and medication. 48 days. No medication, no sightings, only silence. That footage remains the final glimpse of Nancy Guthrie's life, a chilling reality her family now faces. Federal investigators have officially taken custody of the Uber recording. The evidence includes a suspicious vehicle report from January 31st, an abandoned property near NY's home, and DNA in genetic databases. Authorities are processing nearly 7 weeks of public leads, witness statements, and forensic lab results. Surveillance feeds from the surrounding neighborhood are being cross-referenced. For the first time, The data points are finally converging. Anyone holding information about this case should contact the federal tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. The Puma County Sheriff's Department can also be reached at 520-351-4900. The bounty for NY's safe recovery has reached $1.2 million. Our investigation resumes tomorrow for Part 3, a critical 4-hour window between 9:50 p.m. and 1:47 a.m. What happened inside that house? What happened outside? The abandoned property redefines every theory in the case. Subscribe to this series and enable all notifications immediately. The momentum is shifting. These next 48 hours could prove more pivotal than the last 7 weeks. The hunt continues. The tape is in their possession. What it reveals might change everything. The vanishing of Nancy Guthrie is more than a chilling mystery. It is a profound reminder of the fragility of our sanctuary and the weight of our collective responsibility. An 84-year-old woman, adhering to the simple beauty of a family ritual, was met not with the safety she deserved, but with a calculated, predatory silence. This story teaches us that safety is not a static state, but a shared commitment. We often live side by side in our suburban enclaves, yet remain miles apart in our awareness. The empty house next door, the unfamiliar vehicle at dawn. These are not just background noise. They are the shadows where vulnerability meets intent. The 4-7-day delay in securing vital footage serves as a haunting call to action. Information is the lifeblood of justice. We must move with urgency, speak with courage, and look out for those who can no longer look out for themselves. Let this be a pledge to our elders. You are not invisible. We will be your eyes when the streets grow dark. We will be your voice when the world falls silent. Because in a truly connected community, no one should ever have to vanish into thin air.